consider this example of an equity share which pays a dividend of 30 for an infinite number of years, and which is now being issued for 200 rupees. So now the 200 is equal to 30 by 1 plus k whole to the power of 1, 30 by 1 plus k whole square, 30 by 1 plus k whole to the power of n, like that 30 by 1 plus k whole to the power of infinity. But remember, we only know the present value of a finite annuity. That means if it were to end at the end of nth year, an annuity, its present value is given by a into 1 plus k, this formula, right? But here n is infinity. So fortunately, this makes our job little more easier. The present value of a perpetual annuity is simply a by k. So this is a little bit of mathematical, understanding. Otherwise, it's very simply, right? On simplification, the present value of infinite or perpetual annuity is, it's simple. You can actually look at here. 1 plus k whole to the power of infinity is infinity, right? So infinity minus 1 is again, right, an infinity. So here also you have, k into 1 plus k. This is also an infinity. The infinity by infinity is 1. So it is a by k into a by k. 1 plus k, yeah. So 1 plus k whole to the power of infinity minus 1 is 1 plus k whole to the power of infinity, and divide by 1 by k into 1 plus k whole to the power of infinity. So 1 plus k whole to the power of infinity, 1 plus k whole to the power of infinity gets cancelled. So what you will be left with is 1 by k. So simply now 200 is equal to 30 divided by k. So k is equal to 15%. So this is how you can find the value of cost of equity when you have a firm which is offering a dividend which is constant over the infinite number of years, which is technically the life of the equity share. Similarly, here we have given another example where you can again find out using the same formula. And here we have a case where the first year you get a dividend of 15, which later on goes on increasing at a constant percentage called 12%. So first year you get 15 rupees, next year you get 16 rupees 80 paise, next year you will get 18 rupees 81 paise, like that for infinity. So fortunately, again, this simplifies into what is called as present value of a perpetually growing annuity, which is simply d1 by ke minus g. So this is a universal formula where the value of a perpetually growing annuity is a by k minus g. So using this equation, again you find the cost of equity to be 24%. So here I gave another example where you can just work it out, and then this document is already with you, so it is self-explanatory. So we have only two cases in finding out cost of equity. One is a by k formula, and the other is a by k minus g formula. So we use a by k formula when we have a constant dividend stream starting from first year to infinite number of years, and we use a1 by k minus g formula when you have a annuity which is constantly growing at a rate equal to g. So these are some worked out examples. You can have look at it, and this is popularly known as capital asset pricing model approach to calculation of cost of equity. So those who specialize in finance will study in detail as to what is capital asset pricing model if they take a course in security analysis and portfolio management next semester. But then the simplified or straightforward formula of a capital asset pricing model is the return on any asset, the return on any equity share, or return on any asset, you can find out using this equation called risk-free rate plus the market return minus risk-free rate times the beta of the security. So every security will have something called beta, which is a measure of its systematic risk, which is a measure of how a particular security's returns are affected by changes in the market return. So beta gives the sensitivity of securities returns to the changes in the market return, and it's a measure of systematic risk, the risk that cannot be diversified while you are investing. So using this, the return on any given asset can be considered in case of an equity as cost of equity. So cost of equity is risk-free rate. That means it is the rate at which you can invest your money without any risk. The example being the government bonds. So if you're investing in government bonds, then the government bonds are considered to be a proxy to risk-free assets. And what you get if you invest without risk, that plus the return on market. So return on market is something like Sensex or NSE Nifty. So then this is called the differential return on market minus risk-free rate. So this many times you'll have to multiply that with the beta of the security. You again get the cost of equity. So more detailed discussion of this approach will be taken up in your third semester specialization. But for time being, you can just remember this formula, and given the beta, risk-free rate, and return on the market, you can find out the cost of equity of the particular